Now, before I begin, I would like to offer my humble pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagavan, I have a picture here behind me. And I wanted to say, dear Swami, thank you for this opportunity to speak with everyone today. Please speak through me this evening so that I may be your instrument of love and share and spread love, inspiration, and happiness to everyone watching this evening. I would also like to dedicate this talk to Swami, my lovely Lord, who I love so much, and also to my parents, Bruce and Mari Kintz, who are true embodiments of love, as Swami says, and lived lives of Baba's message and as instruments of Baba's love. So I wanted to just give you all a brief outline of my talk so you get an idea of what I'm going to be discussing this evening. And wanted to say good evening and Sai Ram, everyone. It is truly an honor and a pleasure to be with you all tonight. And I'm really grateful that Eric Wing has asked me to speak for you all. I'm excited to share with you, and I plan to share with you the following. So I want to just give a brief background of myself, kind of my story, where I came from. Then I'm going to go into a discussion about the theme of my talk this evening and how I'm framing the theme, which is gratitude. I want to talk about some of my experiences with Swami, share some of my awesome experiences I've had in India with him and some interviews I've had with Swami. And then, of course, I'm going to be sharing lots of quotes of Baba himself, because who else better to quote? Swami has blessed us with so much wisdom and his beautiful words. And I figured, why not share the words from the Lord himself to supplement my messages? What better words to hear than those from the Lord of the universe? So I got several nice quotes that I'm going to share with you all. Then I'm going to close out with a gratitude message to my parents and another quote, of course, on gratitude from Swami. And then I believe hopefully we'll have time at the end for some questions with Greg. So before I jump into the theme of my talk and share some of my Baba's stories, first a little bit of background. So my name is Narayana Arthur Kintz, Narayana meaning God and man. So I was born and raised in the beautiful Southern California mountains of Idlewild, California. I was truly blessed beyond belief, more than I could ever really have enough gratitude for this, but to be born into a loving Sai family, to two wonderful and amazing, incredible parents, Bruce and Mari Kintz. My parents had two other children together. My brother Shanti, means peace, and my sister Jyoti, the light. As you can tell, they gave us all Sanskrit names, but with a little American twist, because of course we are living here in America. So my name Narayana, American version is Ryan. Jyoti can go by Jyoti or Jyoti. Jyoti is an American name. And my brother Shanti was also given the option to have the American name Sean. So besides us three, I have 6 other siblings for a total count of 8 brothers and sisters and a total of 9 kids. 9 is a wonderful number, as we all know, so it's a blessed number. My oldest brother, Roger, my oldest sister, Shelly, then Christy, Marcy, Josh, Tara, Jyoti, Narayana, and Shanti. So lots of beautiful siblings and grew up with a great, great childhood. So Bruce and Mari raised us all in an environment filled with Baba's love and, of course, his invaluable teachings. We had Balvikas every Sunday, Tuesday night center meetings, Thursday night bhajan night at the house. Oh, and my mom always had bhajans playing throughout the house, 24/7. Without a doubt, there was always bhajans playing in the house. We had endless sharing of Baba's stories and teachings from both our parents. We attended lots of Sai retreats, traveled to India 10 times. Our lives were immersed in all things Sathya Sai Baba and spirituality. There was never a moment when Baba was not topic of discussion, nor there was a picture that we were looking at, or we were going to India or going to a retreat. So many things Baba in our lives, and we were truly blessed with that. So growing up in the mountains, I really gathered a strong love for the environment, and I had a very strong nature-focused upbringing along with Baba's teachings on respecting our Mother Earth and all its creations. I attended UCSB for my undergraduate and master's degree. I obtained 2 bachelor degrees, one in environmental science, another in physical geography, and obtained my master's in environmental science and management. So this led to an early career in several environmental science positions, selfless service positions of protecting the environment, doing a lot of environmental remediation, environmental science and management, just a wonderful early career. So this career path has ultimately led me to my current role. Currently, I am the assistant to the city manager at the city of Goleta, and I really fit in really well at the city of Goleta. It's a very environmentally focused city, and I get to partake in a lot of awesome environmental projects and really get to help run the whole city. A recent project I got to do was we selected a vendor to install solar panels on our city hall, which was a fun project I got to be a part of. So in this role as the assistant to the city manager, I really get to work as Swami's instrument. I assist in the management of all city operations, where I essentially get to do selfless service every single day as a public servant for my career, helping run the great city of Goleta. And in this role, I take the following quote of Baba's to heart in all that I do. And I'd like to read this quote to you now. Really common phrase of Swami, which is work is worship. And here's the quote. Whatever talent a person has should be dedicated to the rest of humanity. Indeed, to all living beings. Therein lies fulfillment. All men are kin. They are of the same likeness, the same build, molded out of the same material, with the same divine essence in each. Service to man will help your divinity to blossom, for it will gladden your heart and make you feel that life has been worthwhile. Service to man is service to God, for he is in every man and every living being, and every stone and stump. Offer your talents at the feet of God. Let every act be a flower, free from the creeping worms of envy and egoism, and full of the fragrance of love and sacrifice. End quote. So I am truly grateful to have this career path, and I'm excited to share this career path with you all tonight, because I'm truly passionate about the work I get to do, and I just feel so blessed and truly grateful to Swami that I get to have this career path. So finally, I now live in the city of Santa Barbara, where my beautiful and loving wife, Healy Morgan Kintz, and I have laid down roots. We've purchased a home here in Santa Barbara a couple years back. And Goleta is a small town about 15 minutes up the road. And we care for my father right now, Bruce Kintz. And we are in the early stages of planning for creating another Sai family, which I'm really excited about. Baba's blessed me to be in a position where I can now fully feel fulfilled in where I'm at in my career, and I'm ready to start having some wonderful Sai babies. So now to get to the theme of my talk. When Eric asked me to speak, I began to think of what I can discuss to create an uplifting message, an inspiring talk filled with Baba's stories, but also with an inspirational theme. Particularly during this challenging time when our world is facing a pandemic and so many people are suffering and struggling every day. And I know all of us here tonight who are watching have faced some sort of challenges in one shape or another due to this pandemic. So I'm hopeful that this message will uplift everyone, and the words I speak tonight will all walk away feeling a little lighter and a little happier and a little more joyful and full of gratitude. So my wife and I have developed a gratitude practice over the years, where we start our days with 3 things we are grateful for and end our days with the same conversation. We have found that this has lifted us up, especially during this difficult time. And we spend a lot of our time thinking of all the things we have and focusing on our energy on all our blessings, and not the things we want or do not have, but the things we have. We practice this gratitude, always thanking Baba for giving us so much and putting us in a place where we can serve others. I serve others in my career, I serve my parents, I serve my family in a lot of ways, and my wife, who works for LinkedIn Learning, who serves the world in helping others achieve their professional goals and learning from their online platform, which is LinkedIn Learning. One of Baba's quotes is this, a really simple one: gratitude is our life breath. In other words, gratitude is what gives us life. Baba also says, gratitude to God is prayer. We must offer gratitude for all that God has blessed us with. I'm a science guy, so I couldn't talk about gratitude without plugging in a little bit of evidence for why gratitude is important. And science is showing us that gratitude is powerful. Research has shown that gratitude can improve your general well-being, increase your resilience and grit, strengthen your social relationships, reduce stress and depression. The more grateful you are, the greater your overall well-being and life satisfaction. You'll also have stronger immune systems, lower blood pressure, better sleep, and better waking. You'll be healthier. You'll be more alert, better at your jobs, better at serving your families, taking care of your children. You'll be more generous. You'll be more compassionate. And overall, you'll be a happier person the more grateful you are. Grateful people also have a greater capacity for joy and positive emotions. So the more gratitude we have, the more we attract positivity and the more grateful we can be for the positive things that are happening, and it becomes this positive feedback loop. Gratitude is truly a powerful, powerful message, and I want this to be the focal point of my conversations tonight and really have everyone walk away with this message of gratitude and encourage you all to do this simple practice of gratitude. 3 things in the morning after your prayers to Swami, 3 things you're grateful for in the evening after your goodnight prayers to Swami. So I'd like to share another quote from Swami on gratitude. We offer our gratitude to all men and women who help us, but we don't offer gratitude to God, who has given us everything free of cost. God is giving us all this in abundance, the 5 elements and the sunlight with so much love. We should think for a while how grateful we should be to God. In what way can we offer gratitude to God? The best way to love God is to love everyone and to serve everyone. Rivers flow serving others. Cows yield milk in order to help others. Trees bear fruits in order to help others. Similarly, this body is given to us to help others. God has given us this body not to decorate it and to bloat it with pride and arrogance. The body is the basis of all righteous activity. The true dharma of man, true manava dharma, is to be good, even to those who hate us and who treat us with contempt and jealousy. A river is flowing. River does not differentiate between one and another. The river does not differentiate whether a bird, a beast, an animal, or a man drinks water from the river. The life of the river itself is service. The river serves everyone with love and ultimately merges in the ocean. Therefore, if you analyze properly in nature, we can see the principle of divinity. God is nothing but love, love, love. He does not calculate giving and receiving. He loves everyone and grants everyone what they need without any sense of differentiation. The same principle we can see in the nature also. Because man is a child of nature, the qualities of nature should pervade his actions and thoughts. When nature is serving everyone absolutely selflessly, then why should not man do that as well? Wherever there is selflessness, there is divinity. So with that message, as I mentioned, I am extremely grateful and blessed to have the career path that I have, and I would encourage you all to find what you do in your lives where you are serving. We're all serving humanity in some way or the other. Even singing bhajans, saying the Gayatri, those are all messages that are sending vibrations out into the universe and are a form of service. So my career is selfless service, and I take great gratitude and I take this message to heart that I just shared each and every day when I go into work. And as a government employee, the message of serving all people, regardless of how they treat you or think of you, could not be a better message of how to practice the selfless service. So now, the theme. I have set the stage, and I'd now like to share with you some experiences I've had with Swami with the theme of gratitude in mind. I'd like to preface my stories here by expressing deep gratitude in Swami for giving me these experiences, and I really do love telling these stories, so I'm excited to share some of these stories with you all tonight. So as I mentioned before, I'm very blessed and grateful in this life, and I've had an opportunity to go to India to see Swami 10 times, to see him in his form. I think I've gone to India many more times in my dreams. I've had lots of Baba dreams, but physically I've gone to India 10 times. My first trip to India was in 1993 when I was 6 years old. Subsequently, I went to India in 95, twice in 1997, in the year 2000, 2003, 2005, and 2010. 2010 was the year before Swami left his human body form. So I'm going to tell some stories from some of these trips. So in my first trip to India, 1993, I remember being blown away at the difference in the country to the United States. India is a beautiful country with beautiful people, so many people, so happy. And seeing the happiness on these people's faces, people with so much less. I could literally see that they had less because in the United States, you know, first world country compared to India was very different, especially to a 6-year-old. But most cases, these people were much happier than many of the American families and friends I knew. It was at this moment, I remember being 6 years old, I thought I would never complain again about my life for not having a certain toy or game. And these first moments in India, I definitely felt these intense waves of gratitude coming over me just for being, you know, born into the life that I was born into and being grateful for that. I also remember stepping off the plane for the first time in Bangalore and having that strong yet pleasant smell. I did enjoy the smell of India and the wave of heat and humidity that hit my face. And I was just like, whoa. I came from the mountains of Adulthood where it's really cold. It doesn't get too hot up there. So this was a big shock to me. So on this first trip, our family was blessed to have an interview with Swami. And in this interview, Swami came up to me and he said, "What is your name, boy?" I said, "Narayana Swami." And he said, "Good boy." And he gave me a loving yet strong tap/slap of his hand across my cheek like this, which in the moment that felt really, really powerful, as if he was knocking some karma out of my body and instilling in me his love. Later on in that same interview, Swami came up to me again and he asked, "What is your name, boy?" I said, "Narayana Swami," as if like, is he getting it? He said, "Good boy," again. And he gave me another powerful yet loving tap across my cheek like this. Sometime later again, Swami came up to me and asked, "What is your name, boy?" Very strongly, very directly at me, just driving into me, "You're Narayana, you are God and man." And I said again, "Narayana Swami." Kind of wondering at this point if he heard me the two prior times I told him. He gave me a big smile and he said, "Good boy." And he gave me a third strong slap across my cheek with his hand. Each time I could just feel the energy pouring into me and the karma just being smacked out of my body. So it was truly powerful. So later on, he came up to me again and he asked me my second name. He said, "What is your second name?" I didn't totally understand because in America, I'm used to being asked, "What is your last name?" And he was asking for my last name. But in my head, I have 3 names, Narayana, Arthur, Kintz. So logically, I thought, oh, he's asking me for my middle name. So I said, "Arthur Swami." He looked across the room, sort of confused, playing around, and said something in Telugu to someone in the room. And then he asked again, "No, what is your second name?" By then, my father, Bruce, he caught on and he said, "Narayana, your last name, your last name." And I immediately blurted out, "Kintz, Swami, Kintz." And Baba sat back in his chair like this, in the most delighted look on his face, waving his hand in the air, and he said, "Ah, Kintz, good name." And then he gave me another loving but strong tap across my face. Baba was so loving and playful with me, and I was having the greatest time in my life at this point, being 6 years old. And I felt so much love from him, just pouring into me. Later on in the same interview, I had another fun and playful interaction with Swami, although I was a bit confused by his question. Swami came up to me again in the interview, and he looked in me in the eyes and he said, "Boy, where is your wife?" Being 6 years old, I was a little stuck. And although I did have a girl back at home that I enjoyed spending time with, I had some friends that were girls. We were a few years away from matrimony. So naturally I said, "Swami, I don't have a wife." Kind of like, why are you asking me that? Clearly, you can see I'm 6 years old. I don't have a wife. So everyone in the room laughed. But my mom, of course, so grateful to her. Mari Om Tat Sat, she said, being a good mom, ever so subtly, she asked Swami, "Will you get him a good one?" And Baba snapped quickly at my mom and he said, "Not now," shocking my mom, to which her face responded, "Well, you're the one that asked the 6-year-old where his wife was." Baba smiled at her and then at me, and he said, "Studies first." So truly, I completed my studies, and I found, and Baba has gifted me with an amazing wife, Healy Morgan Kintz, and she's watching this tonight. And Healy, I know you're watching this, and Baba blessed me with you, and I'm grateful for you as well. Thank you, Swami. Same interview, Swami was speaking a lot of languages in the room, including he was speaking Portuguese to some people, Spanish, English, and several Indian dialects. And then it was in this same interview, Swami conducted several materializations. At one point, Swami materialized a ring for a Portuguese man, and it was of Shirdi Sai. The Portuguese man asked Swami if he could have one of him, a picture of him. Swami passed the ring around first, and everyone got to see that the image on the ring was, and truly it was Shirdi. Baba then took the ring, he held it up in the air in front of all of us, and he blew on the ring like this. And immediately it changed right in front of our eyes into a picture of Swami. He then passed the ring around again for everyone to see the change he had made with just one breath of air. In another materialization, I was sitting next to Swami to his right. He was sitting in the chair in the interview, and my dad was sitting there with me too. And I remember at one point, Swami began waving his hand like this. And I looked up and I saw a japamala drop right out of his hand as his hand swooped down and he caught it right there. So as a boy, these materializations gave me a full understanding of who Baba truly was, which was the Lord of the universe in human form. And I was blown away at these awesome feats. They instilled in me a strong sense of Baba's power. But as I grew older, these materializations, to me, they just became, kind of still amazing and incredible, but it was the value of his constant giving and pouring of love on all of his devotees and just giving his entire life to us that made me really see the divinity in him and the godliness of who he is. In this same interview, I also had a chance to ask Baba a question. Here I was sitting in front of the Lord of the universe, the Lord of the universe who's endowed with all of the knowledge of the multiverse. And I could ask him anything I wanted, but being 6 years old, I had one thing on my mind, and that was my dog, Leela, at home in Idlewild. So I tried to ask this question of Swami, to ask him how my dog is doing. And I asked several times, trying to get his attention. And finally, I got his attention. I said, "Swami, how is my dog doing in Idlewild?" He responded very quickly, "Dog is with God." I thought, oh, that sounds good. And I immediately turned to my father with a good smile, a big smile on my face, excited to get that answer. What I don't remember, and what my mother later told me, was that in that same interview, Baba turned to my mom and said, "He always thinking of dog, dog, dog. He is always thinking of dog, dog, dog." Now later, I took this message to heart. The word dog is a palindrome, meaning it is spelled the same backwards, or it's spelled different. So it's not a palindrome, but backwards it's spelled God. So to me, God is the message he was trying to tell me. So I took this lesson, and ever since this interview, when I think of my pet dogs, because I do love dogs a lot, and I have a beautiful dog named Maya, which means illusion, and I named her Maya to remind me that this life is an illusion. But every time I call her name, I immediately think of Swami because of that message he gave me in that interview. When I returned home from this trip, sadly, my dog Leela had ran away while we were in India. And later I took Baba's message to mean dog is with God, as he was telling me that he has her in his hands and she is fine. And wherever she was, whether she ran away to another home or unfortunately passed, Baba had her and she was okay. I'd like to take a moment now just to share a little bit about the passing of my mom, Mari Kintz, whom she called herself Mariom Tatsa. I want to talk about Swami's physical body's passing in 2011. And then most recently, my stepmom, Corinne Cody Kintz, she passed away in 2019. And I'd like to share a quote from Baba that helped me through all of these difficult times of losing people really near and dear to me. So my mom passed away from breast cancer on June 22nd, 2009. And as you can all imagine, this was one of the most difficult times of my life. And during her struggle with cancer, I prayed incessantly to Swami to heal her, to take away her cancer and let me keep my mom. When she passed, I was upset with Baba naturally, and I didn't really understand why he would take her away from me. I took some time to process this, why he would take her away from me. And I found this quote that really helped me cope with this difficult time. And then again in 2011, when Baba's form left, it was a challenging time, and I was reminded of this quote again. And then finally in 2019, another tragic loss in my life when my stepmother Corinne passed, who my father had married several years after the passing of my mom, another great Sai Baba devotee, Corinne Cody Kintz. She also tragically passed. And this is a quote that I read regularly now to remind me of the impermanence of this existence. So I'll read it to you now from Swami. The word death creates a fear psychosis in the mind of human beings. You tell a person that such and such person has died, it will produce a wave of shock in the mind of the listener. When death occurs in the family, it is announced in the papers, sad demise. According to author's own understanding, he explains death as follows. Death is reunion with God. Death is like changing clothes and wearing new clothes. Death is getting merged in God. Death is to achieve eternity. Death is a realization that one is not the body, but the Atma, the soul. Death is attaining a blissful state, Sat Chitananda. Death is to break all the ties that bind and be permanently released. Death is the only certainty. Death is understanding and experiencing the difference between the transient and the permanent. Anybody and everybody who is born in this world in any form has to meet with death sooner or later. Hence, death should be accepted as boldly and cheerfully as we accept life. That will help us in eliminating the fear of death, which has held most of us so tightly in its grip that we can hardly breathe. In fact, any human being who has taken a birth in this world may not be reborn again if he attains moksha, liberation, in this present life. But on the other hand, each and every being who is born in this world is bound to die. So death is the only certainty. Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba has taken the human form he took to explain to the people who make them understand this, to help them understand the secret of life and death by proclaiming that each and every human being, irrespective of any caste, creed, or color, is the Atma, the eternal soul, and not the body. He further explains that the Atma does not die. It is the body which decays and is declared dead. When the Atma leaves it, the Atma is neither born nor does it die. It ever remains. On the other hand, the body, which is changeable, perishes and dies. Anything which is changeable is not real. Anything which is permanent is the truth. The Atma is permanent and eternal. So I really love that message, and it really helped me cope with the passing. After the passing of my mother in 2010, we did go to India to be with Swami. And then, of course, my mother loved India so much, and she loved Baba so much. And one of her wishes to us, her children, was to have her ashes spread in 3 places. One was the mountains, because she loved the mountains. And of course, that's where we lived. She loved going to the ocean, being in Southern California. Idlewild, 2.5 hours away from the ocean. So she asked us to spread her ashes in the ocean. And then finally, she asked us to spread her ashes in the riverbed of the Chitravati River. So this was a special trip in 2010, because it was the last time I got to see Swami's physical body with my own eyes before his form passed in 2011. And we also got to give my mom her wish of spreading her ashes in the Chitravati River, which really was a beautiful, beautiful experience. So I'd like to turn now to a second trip that I've had to India in this was in 1997. And this one, I was blessed to get a second interview. And in this one, I was blessed to be acting as Swami's servant. So in 97, we were blessed to have this interview. And of course, I was Baba's unofficial servant in this interview, because when we entered the interview room, Swami immediately came up to me and he asked me to hold the vibhuti basket and walk side by side with him throughout the interview room as he reached into the basket to distribute vibhuti packets to everyone. During the interview, Swami also turned to me for simple tasks. He asked me to shut the door, get up and turn on the fan, sit down, get up again, turn on the fan, turn off the light, turn on the light. Needless to say, I was delighted to dutifully follow with quick response each and every one of his requests. And it was really fun to just have that playful interaction with him and to take the direction of the Lord of the universe, even if for such simple tasks as turning on a light. I also remember on this particular day, I wore some white pants that didn't have the largest pockets. I really remember not being able to put 2 fingers into these pockets. I was 8 years old at the time, so my fingers weren't very large. However, as I was carrying the basket around distributing vibhuti to everyone, Swami at one point, because he saw me holding the basket, he took a huge handful of vibhuti, and somehow he was able to get that entire handful of vibhuti into my pocket, and I believe my pocket expanded because of his will, and to this day, those pants had bigger pockets, and Baba was able to put a large handful of vibhuti in my pocket. So that was a fun story I always like to share. It's a good story about Baba's powers there, even as it's so small. We also went to India a few times, and I got to celebrate Christmas in India and be a part of the Christmas plays. I like to share a story about being in the Pune Chandra during these plays, where Baba was living at the time, and we would practice every day in the Pune Chandra. In the backstage, before we would go out on stage for our respective parts, Baba would come and visit us, and we would also get to use his restroom. And this was his restroom that he used daily. It was his personal restroom. So my mom, ever since we were children, she taught us to leave a space, wherever space we were in a condition as if Baba were coming there next. So when you leave your room, leave it clean and tidy. When you leave the kitchen table, leave it clean and tidy. When you leave the park, leave it clean and tidy, always for Swami. So in this instance, 8 years old, using the restroom of Swami, I really took that message to heart. And I just remember having this amazing experience of using the restroom that the Lord of the universe is using and making sure that I left it clean and tidy, because literally, in this instance, I was leaving the room for Swami. So needless to say, I did sit down to use the restroom every single time in that room and made sure I kept it really, really clean. So also during these Christmas plays, just amazing experience getting to be a part of these plays. Baba would, like I mentioned, periodically and regularly visit the children, and he would bring us gifts constantly. He would bring us cakes, I remember. He would bring us shawls and books, and he would distribute it to all of us in the back there, and constantly sharing and showering us with love, and just an amazing, amazing experience. So just wanted to share those little stories with you all, and also share how these experiences with Swami live through me to this day. And I love telling these stories, and I love sharing the gratitude of getting those experiences and getting to firsthand have those interactions with Swami. I have several others, but those are some of my favorites that I'd like to share. So I'd like to now, in my closing message, send a message to you all of gratitude to my parents, as I mentioned, dedicating my talk tonight to them. And I wanted to just share a little bit of my current condition with my father. So my dad is 77, and through a blessing of Swami, because he is truly in a state of ever-present moment, because he is experiencing some memory loss and some dementia. And I just feel so grateful that I get to be able to take care of him. So I'd like to share that, this is an amazing experience. As I mentioned in my quotes, being able to serve your parents. So my sister Tara, my brother Shanti, his girlfriend Colleen, my wife Healy, and I were all taking care of my dad during this challenging time with COVID-19. Bruce was living in an assisted living facility that it did have a COVID outbreak here in Santa Barbara. And because of this, we all just didn't feel comfortable leaving him there naturally. Several people in the room, in the facility, went to the emergency room. So we immediately took him out, and he's living with us now. And this truly has been a blessing because it's challenging for us, but it's also a great opportunity to serve him and to be there for him, provide a home that's clean, loving, really safe, and really healthy. As he faces the challenges of dementia and memory loss, we get to provide him and shower him with love, and we sing bhajans with him, and he remembers a lot of bhajans, and he loves to sing these bhajans. And for that, I'm really grateful to be able to do this and to share this caring with my wife and with my brothers and sisters, and just shower my dad with the love, because he truly was a great father for us, and he showered so much love on us. And so now I get to return the favor. And it's really fun. So I'm going to share another quote about Swami, from Swami, on loving your parents and showing your gratitude to them. This is Swami's quote. The most sacred teaching of the Vedas is Bharat. In Bharat, are three. Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava. Students, this is one aspect you must always bear in mind in the future. Who is God? Mother and father are God. As soon as you are born, you see your father. You see your mother. It is your father who nurtures you, and it is your mother who nurtures you. Therefore, forgetting these physical gods who are directly in front of you, trying to seek God elsewhere is of no use. They are the ones who are with us in our difficulties, loss, and sorrows, who understand us and nurture us. Therefore, your blood, food, head, and wealth are your parents' gift. Therefore, first, you should express your gratitude to your parents. You must respect them. This is the ideal set by Sri Ramachandra. He followed the command of his father. He gave up the kingdom over which he had full right. Today, even undeserving people desire for a kingdom to rule. Rama stood for truth and obeyed the command of his father and followed his word. He was never worried that leaving the kingdom, he would have to go to the forest and face difficulties. Therefore, first respect your parents and follow their command. Follow in their footsteps and lead an ideal life. Then only can you be a true devotee. On one side, bringing tears in the eyes of your parents, and on the other side, worshiping the Lord, what is the use? No, you must love the beings and chant the name of God. There is no greater devotion than love. Love, love, love. Love your parents first. If you do not love your parents, you can never have true love. Parents were there even before you were born. Without loving your parents who existed even before you did, if you love your wife who has come in the middle, can you achieve anything? Wife and children are the ones who come in the middle, like passing clouds. Parents are of primary importance. They were there even before you were born. Therefore, first love your parents, respect your parents, please your parents. When you make them happy, your life will be happy throughout. End quote. So Swami has always stressed on the importance of respecting our parents and showing our gratitude to them. He puns on the word parent and he calls it pay rent. That is, we need to pay our rent in the form of gratitude to our parents, to whom we owe our very existence. And this quote, Baba does elaborate on this obligation of every son and daughter, and I'm trying to do that. And I encourage all of us to love and adore our parents and have a tremendous amount of gratitude to them. And for those of you that are parents, you will probably, most likely, receive that in return with your children one day. So with this message, I will conclude my remarks, and I will thank all of you for the pleasure of speaking with you and for sharing Swami's love and the message of gratitude. Sai Ram.